Behold the venom produced by the head of the snake. Gaze upon the fruits of its propagation of the global war machine, commiserating its empire of destruction and misery as it slithers throughout the globe, bringing megadeath and agony to all. Beware the head of the snake. Stay vigilant, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Tiger's Den. We are broadcasting live from the Lower Huron Valley in Michigan. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it is May 26, 2023 AD, and you are here to think for yourselves. I'll be playing some bumper music here and there, but not too much, and it will be a mix of things, so don't get me wrong. I am Angry Tiger, and this is the Tiger and Snake Financial Report. And today, ladies and gentlemen, as the tiger was trudging through the jungle to dig up the financial goods, he stepped into a pile of manure and discovered not only was it just a small pile, oh no, it was a whole field, ladies and gentlemen. It was everywhere. The tiger's snout was accosted and assaulted by this horrid, wretched smell of manure. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I discovered the field of manure and the smell of it. From a bull, perhaps, he thought, or from a horse. Perhaps a Crimea creature, a bull-horse combination, another abomination created by the snake-headed gypsy tin benders, because they are the producer of all things that we rail against, ladies and gentlemen. Never take your eye off the ball. The mainstream media dance on the rancid strings of the snake-headed puppet masters, telling us a tale of the financial market that just is not so, ladies and gentlemen. The signs of a production slowdown in China, perhaps. I don't hear anybody I've seen articles on this. There's something going on in China that caught my eye, and I'm surprised that other people aren't checking it out. But we're going to get down on that. I'm going to give you my opinion, and I want to get yours. And I think it's another bellwether, unfortunately. So what else we got going on? CBDC bravada, an inverted yield curve, ladies and gentlemen. That is not good. We have a field full of stinking lies, but never fear. As usual, the tiger will find the truth and present it at your feet. The bologna is thick tonight and is splattering around like a hippo, marking its turf. A nasty display if you have ever seen it. So hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps get out an umbrella and a wetsuit, because you have the tiger by the tail. With us tonight, as usual, our stalwart companion, Bouncer the Ninja Dude Dog. He's all duded up in his dude suit, and he is patrolling for the New Squirrel Order. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tiger and Snake Financial Report. It is Friday. I am wacky on Friday. Today was insane. I almost did not make the Tiger and the Snake Financial Report. Now, I want to welcome all the TNP viewers to the weekly report. I want to explain what it is, what I do, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the time yet. I have to work that out. I'm going to try out this time for a couple of weeks. I'm not trying to be an idiot, ladies and gentlemen, but I do work for myself, and Fridays are crazy days for me. So, but what we do every Friday is usually after the bell too. I like to, because they sneak a lot of financial news in. I go over the financial news of the week, what's important. I break down the complicated affairs when or the bull crap, and the reason I do this every week is because they come out with these reports like the CPI and inflation, and they talk about all this stuff, and they lie about a lot of stuff, right? So a lot of people, number one, don't get it, and I'll explain it to you in working man's English. So that's what we do every Friday, and I do it every week, and it's the Tiger and the Snake, and we're always battling the snake-headed gypsy tin benders at the Federal Reserve. That's what I do. That's who I throw my rocks at, because they are the producer. You have the government. I understand that, but you have to have, for the new listeners, my normal, any new listeners that you might know this, you might not. I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence if you already know this, but the banks are the producers. We have a trough of corruption, which they fill up. The garbage-eating politicians come to this trough and they put their snouts in it, okay? And what the trough does is it provides a great thing. Corruption, okay, because when there's corruption, you can do anything you want. Okay. And it also provides a lot of compartmentalization, because these garbage eating politicians and multinational corporations that feed from the trough, and the government, okay, they are too busy feeding from the trough and involved in their own schemes, their own plans, their own designs. That's what it's about. So they're not even thinking about you or I. Some of them might know some of the cabal, and that this is a plan, a global depopulation plan, a destruction of the middle class, via the central banks. But even if they know about it, they don't care. They're too busy rooting around in the trough of corruption. So with that being said, that there's something to think about. But the bank and the governments have an incestuous relationship. They work hand in hand. They need each other to exist. The bank can't exist without a Leviathan government to borrow money from it. And that's the debt ceiling. I didn't pull a story up about the debt ceiling because I could just talk about the debt ceiling, because, we can talk about what's going to happen with the debt ceiling. And it's not good. It's going to put us further in debt. That's all it's going to do. That's exactly, and it's going to happen. They might even default for a couple of weeks. They did that a couple of years ago. They'll shut down a bunch of non-essential things, and some people, they'll talk about not getting their Social Security checks. They might even one of these days make it so people don't get their Social Security checks 1 month. And maybe you have to lay off, or you won't get your mail for a couple of days. That's when if they really want to squeeze you. But that's how it all works. The government and the banks need each other to exist. So the banks are the producer. That's why we got to focus on them. Your political parties are meaningless. They do nothing. They are too busy feeding from the trough of the corruption of the Federal Reserve has provided. And you have to remember, you're getting into the presidential level and the higher political levels. You have to be a certain kind of person to want to do that. And those people are, easily played. Either they're in on the plan, they're not in on the plan, and they're just like puppets. I mean, a guy like Trump, you could just play him with his ego. People who have these gigantic egos, they're extremely easy to manipulate, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is pet them like a dog. And they'll, yeah. Oh, really? Really? Oh, I like this guy. This guy's great. That's all. Just bring your knee pads to the show and they'll love you. Anyways, we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with some lies. Now, CBDC. We are going to start with CBDC. And when we start with CBDC, I have an intro for CBDC. Yes, and let's eat some bugs and lose some freedom with CBDC. That should be the trademark. CBDC, eating bugs and losing freedom. Come on, sign right up. Here we go. And you won't sign right up. Of course you won't sign right up. You know why? Because you're a garbage-eating politician. They will have you, all of us, in such a state, ladies and gentlemen. I tell my normal viewers, they know this, to prepare your mind, first of all, and your spirit, because horrible times are coming. There's an old song called "Better Times Are Coming" by I believe who did that. Oh gosh, it's two fellas. Oh, I can't remember their name, but anyway, Google it. It's two bluegrass fellas, right? Not Ben and Jerry, but what are their names? Oh, anyway, it'll come to me during the episode. But they say add more water to the soup, and that was a Depression era saying, because trying to make things go longer, last a little bit longer than they can. So. I add more water to the soup because better times are coming. And I have the opposite for you. Get ready to add more water to the soup because horrible times are coming. It's a matter of time before the inflation catches you by your foot. Poor people, they're going to get it. They're going to get it sooner. And people who are a little bit better off, they're going to, it's just going to take longer. So your lifestyle is going to change, and prepare yourself for that. Don't lose your joy. Do not lose your hope. Do not lose your happiness, because then they win. And manifest the knowledge you have. Because if you're watching the Tigers Den, if you're watching anything on a TNP platform, if you're watching Tony Arterburn, Knights of the Storm, if you're watching David Knight, if you're watching America Unplugged or listening to Donald Jeffries, or if you're, any of that stuff, You have found the alt. You have found the people who want to tell you the truth. You have found the way, you know, and you know a lot of things. Manifest the knowledge that you have, because even me as an individual, I'm not perfect. I say this stuff. When I look at myself, I say, hey, this is what you need to do. And it's good advice. I'm not up here preaching or saying I'm any better. I'm giving myself advice as I give it to you, almost like a rah-rah pep talk to myself. And I think it's good advice. Manifest that knowledge. We all have a tendency to have it sit in our heads, but we don't use it. I'm telling you, can. Whatever the knowledge is, manifest it. Let's get into this. So DeSantis, he announced his presidential bid this week on Twitter. Great. His voice is dissenting from the norm of Trump. I think it's going to take a lot away from Trump. I am not a big fan of politics, ladies and gentlemen, because it's like watching professional wrestling. It's extremely entertaining, and you can get sucked into it. That's the problem. You get sucked into it. It's extremely entertaining. You pick sides, right? And then even the most intelligent, lucid person who is in tone with themselves, you create a bias subconsciously in your head. And you're not aware that you're doing it, but it's there after you do it. So you get too engaged in politics and you create this bias, and bias can fog your judgment and your discernment on what's important to you, your family, and the small community that perhaps you could build out of the rubble of the hell that the snake-headed gypsy tin benders at the Federal Reserve are serving to us on a hot plate. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so DeSantis, he announces his run. We love that. I guess, what he said. We like what he said. And this is why I pulled this up. To protect crypto and abolish CBDC. He predicts Bitcoin will die if Biden gets reelected. Biden gets reelected. Mr. Biden. Coin. How does anybody believe someone who can't even wipe their ass is running the country? Or how does anybody believe that some carnival barker, real estate, New York slimeball, slithery real estate agent, okay, who talks at a fourth grade level, can run the country? Can we stop with pretending that that's real now? Can we stop pretending that these morons are running the country? Ladies and gentlemen, the central banks run the world, not just the country. We are not sovereign. The whole Constitution has been usurped. It is no longer a functioning document or a functioning set of laws for them to follow. They don't follow the laws because guess what? They're not in charge even. The central banks run it all. They run it all. This show with these two guys, these morons. And there's another thing. How embarrassing for our country that the last two presidents were these two morons. They were not eloquent at all. Not in the least bit. I am not super eloquent. All right. I'm not a great speaker. I trip over words because my mind is moving too fast. I have all these great words I want to use, but my mind is going fast. So I just pick them, right? Because it goes like a river. So I'm like, pick this word. Sometimes it messes up. But, at least Obama, and no, I am not a fan of Obama. That another puppet. We could go down the rabbit hole. All these guys, you can go down the rabbit hole. Every single one of them. Not one of them, if you look into them, their character was worthy of being called president. And you could say that for a very long time in this country. Very long time. So these guys, this beauty pageant that we all participate in, can we stop it? Can we please? It just irritates me. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. So DeSantis comes out. He's pro Bitcoin. He's pro cryptocurrency. He's got his deal. Is controller of the commerce over there in Florida. Rules against a CBDC being enacted. That's all fine and dandy. That's the Texas thing. I got into this last week on the Tiger and Snake Financial Report. They're going to back the CBDC with gold. That is a poison apple, ladies and gentlemen. Do not bite of it. Do not look at it. If you get it in your hand, throw it. And when it lands in the water, you'll watch the water boil and all the fish jump out dying and gasping for air because it comes from the snake-headed gypsy tin benders. That is a ruse. That is fish food for the fish to come up and bite. I'm telling you, that's like a bow hunter who hunts carp. He's throwing stuff. The carp comes up because you can bait those things and boom. And I don't do that personally. I don't like the taste of carp, so I'm not gonna, anyway. And to each his own. But that's what that's like. They're falling for the bait. Don't fall for that bait. Gold-backed CBDC. That's ridiculous. That's like who was it? I think it was the Bank on International Settlements or the IMF, one of those clowns, the Bankers Bank of Banks and the IMF. On our show, we bang the gong for these guys. They are royalty. How dare you say them without banging the gong, Angry Tiger. Anyways, those, I think they said they were going to back the cryptocurrency with paper money. Wait a minute. Whoa, isn't that in reverse there? Do you see, ladies and gentlemen, anything to get it through? Anything. My point being is I like it when RFK Jr., DeSantis, I love the things they say. The great thing about this is, I have a viewer. I'm not going to point them out, but I bet you they know who I'm talking about, and this isn't going to be a negative thing. I tend to, I like the truth, right? And I like to be practical about it. And I know from everything that I've studied in my heart, I say this 100% true. In my heart, I believe, and I don't think I'm the only one, that CBDC is going to come no matter what. I don't think there's a political answer because politics barely fixes anything. I don't know if politics can fix things anymore because everything is so corrupt. We can slow things down, but we haven't been able to stop a damn thing. And there's been some crazy stuff that's happened to us. They shut the whole world down in 3 days. If that doesn't show you their power, but I like her attitude is like, don't roll over on your back. And we're not rolling over on our back, but we need to be ready. That's why I say this is coming. We could try to fight it. When guys like DeSantis pipe up about it, I believe this is all just political posturing. Politics is a show. It's an act. So when I hear politicians say things, those are their lines. Those aren't real things that they're saying to me. It's like watching Star Trek. It's like watching Leonard Nimoy say, that is illogical, Captain, or DeFrost Kelly say, I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer. That it's the same thing. It's not real. It's not real. So when I hear the politics stuff, I can't deal with that. I can't. But we have to pay attention because these people are politics. There's an old saying, if you're not interested, you might not be interested in politics, but politics are interested in you. And we have these garbage eaters, making laws, that affect our lives. So on that level, it matters. But when these big things come through, their plans, nothing would have stopped COVID. Okay. All the what ifs, ands, all buts, nothing would have stopped COVID. They just would have terrorized us. They'll terrorize the people. Okay. That's their modus operandi. If you've been watching them through history, and you can watch this all the way back in history, this is what leaders do, though, the corrupt leaders, when they get to that point. They will terrorize the people to the point where the people will acquiesce because they have no choice because they're trying to save their children. I want you to think about what I just said. And I'll tell you what, that's crazy. That makes the tiger extremely angry. But listen to the seriousness, the profound statement that I just made. They will terrorize us and we will acquiesce to keep our children alive. And I know a lot of us of faith will say, well, I would rather die with and I get it. I understand that. But that's not everybody's like that. And the people will do what they need to do to survive. And when CBDC, when inflation and the energy cost of energy is so much that people can barely survive, when millions of people have lost their homes, when there are food lines, do you think people are going to stand on the principle of, I don't want an electronic currency or a CBDC issued by the Federal Reserve? No, they're going to say, please help me save my house. Yes, I'll take that. And a lot of us want to talk tough, but we can, it's good, prepare for it. But don't give up. Be vocal. Back to the viewer. She's right. Don't lose your spirit to fight. Fight. Because that's what you have to do. That is the virtuous thing to do. And you know what? You can't fight when you're dead. That's the one thing that I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with. She's brilliant. She's probably way more intelligent than I am. But I'm on your side and I'm with you. Let's fight. But we need to be practical about stuff. Nothing's going to stop CBDC. And I love that viewer to death. And she made me think. That's why I love this viewer so much, right? So hats off to you. You know who you are probably if you're watching this or you see it. And I hope we're still friends. I'm sure we are. You are very cool too, by the way. So DeSantis, all the politicians telling you CBDC, they're going to stop it. They're not going to let it happen. That's nonsense. See, because we got this from Cointelegraph. CBDC is on the horizon. The current state of CBDC initiatives around the world. So let's dip our beak in the example of what is actually happening terra firma around the world. Okay, with the CBDC pilot programs. And this is the thing. Did you hear what I just said? Around the world, because the central banks, they do the same things. A lot of them are in cahoots. The whole Western central banking system, they are all in cahoots. They lie. Again, the theme of this today's episode is manure. Okay, because there's so many lies today. When I was looking at numbers and the spin from the media, from Bloomberg and Fox News and all the nonsense that I read. And I'm going to break it all down for you. We're going to get to it. I'm angry today. I'm very angry because of the amount of lies, the pain that all the humans are going to go through. Pray for your fellow countrymen and women, please, and pray for yourself. And please prepare your spirit and get ready. And don't let them steal. Fight. The big fight is with your spirit and your mind. Don't let them steal your joy. Start finding joy. If you're a complicated person and you have a lot of complicated things in your life, and it's all about money and the things that you own, try to find simple pleasures. Find the pleasures, the power that you will take away from the freedom that you will have when you find those simple pleasures, when you really, really realize, and some of you are going to know what I'm talking about. This is important. This is more important than the stuff I'm covering. When you realize the treasures you have, when you find love in the simple things, if you are a parent or a grandparent, and you really connect, you really realize what it means to have that child and that grandchild and that progeny going on into the future, carrying on your traditions. You see your parents' traditions carried on. The joy, the treasure of that. If you have some food, simple food, if your stomach's not growling, thank the Lord above. Thank whoever it is you want to thank, but be extremely thankful and lucky whether it's filet mignon that filled your stomach or a ramen and a hot dog. Be thankful for that. Because there are people around the world, ladies and gentlemen, they're children and people, they're starving to death. They're eating dust and dirt, and they're hungry. So if you have these things, take joy in them. If you have something that has flavor in it, take joy in that. Eat. A lot of people live to eat. You have to eat. We eat to live. Learn to do that. And when you get something that tastes good, enjoy it all the much more. Smack your lips. Dance to that tune. Find that fight in you. Get that fire going. Spread the word. Spread the word responsibly. These are all treasures. Go out into nature. Plug yourself into what God has created. That is what we are meant to do. Fulfill your power process. You will be happy. These are the things in life that will take care of you in your mind and your spirit. And if those two things are taken care of, the rest will fall into place, even in the darkest, most horrible situation that you can't control. You'll still have that grain of dignity, happiness, and peace that only simplifying your life and being humble and thanking the Lord and your situations that you've created for yourself, and He has helped you create for what you have. Be grateful, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're able to view this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in a good spot. So, CBDC on the horizon, let's check out. We're going to dip our beak and see what's going on. So, by status, okay, the number of existing CBDC projects has increased significantly over the past few years. Currently, over 100 countries are exploring the topic of CBDCs. And while approximately half of them are still in the stage of research and development, there are 39 countries that have either pilot proof or concept of launched CBDC initiatives. And it seems like, so, okay, what did they do here? This graph is, they basically, this is a graph worldwide, Cointelegraph, this is their own research. So they say that 54% of these 100 banks or 100 countries are in the research mode. That's 77 countries. All right. I've gone over this stuff before, just a little smattering though, just to get you, we're not talking out of our horn here. All right. Pilot programs. That means they're using it. They're testing it out. You guys know what that means. So we got 40 countries doing that. Okay. And here's the thing. It's more than that because we've had pilot programs on the wholesale side here. They probably aren't reporting that. They're maybe not. I don't know. I don't like it when they do this stuff and they don't really, these graphs don't have any background data. So I understand exactly what they took, but I'm sure they did something. I'm sure it's close, right? So proof of concept, 13 countries, officially launched 4, okay, and canceled or inactive 8, all right? And it all depends on how the people like it in that country, right? Like in Nigeria, they didn't like it at all. They said, no, we don't like this. We'll use some other cryptocurrency. Okay, so particularly interesting, the process of CBDC discussion in countries where financial freedom is a topic of constant debate, such as the U.S. and Canada, especially given that many conservative politicians have strongly criticized or even prohibited the introduction of CBDCs. And then they tell you in particular, they talk about Florida, of course, Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina, Texas, Tennessee. So global initiatives. Exploring so here we go. Projects developed with R3Bit and IBM and Ripple. I'm not going to get in again. You can look all this stuff up. This is from CoinDesk. The nitty gritty, but these are all, all the companies. And I have a report. If you go to my Substack, Angry Tigers newsletter, I have a report, and it's on all my media, that Angry Tigers Den on Rumble. We changed Angry Tigers. We changed it from the Tigers Den to Angry Tigers Den on Rumble. And I'm going to do that on YouTube too, if it's available. But and in November, I did an extensive report on all the companies involved in the CBDC, how they're going to do it. They're going to do a ledger system. They have everything planned out. I broke it down for you. It's a lengthy report. It's pretty technical. I went into some white papers, and I do a lot of that. So I can do this. So I can hop up on here and blaze through this and not bore you to death with some technical white paper and stumble through it while, because it's boring. And it's not only boring, it's a nightmare to translate, right? We speak working man's English here. We're trying to be able to make it so you guys can discern this kinds of stuff to your friends and neighbors in a manner that is reasonable, that has no attachment to anything crazy like UFO, hatchet wielding snake people that drink babies' blood at cupcake parties made out of human beings, flesh and all that other stuff. And they all run the government. If you believe that, more power to you, but you not going to win friends or influence people that don't know anything about the background of esotericness and the occult and then how it's connected with government and all the symbology that you have to give someone a college class on that shit. So that doesn't work. Right now we have real problems. Let's give them real information that it's tangible and they'll feel and they'll understand. And we can get into the esoteric stuff when we're, all eating hot dogs, roasting on our campfire, because instead of showing people what, is real, we showed them fantasy stuff, and we don't have a stove to cook on, and we're out, hiding from some drone that can hear our heartbeat from 5,000 miles away and see our infrared signature, and we're trying to explain to our neighbors how the lizard people took everything over. Okay, so let's just try to keep everything normal, all right? And so, because people don't have that foreboding knowledge, okay, that makes us all so much greater than everybody, okay? Like I said, it is important to understand esoteric stuff, but right now is not the time, okay? I seen Edward G. Griffin late just a couple days ago on a podcast, and he said the same thing on my podcast in April. Now's not the time to play. It's happening now. We're running out of time. And he's not the only one saying that, okay? There are a lot of people saying that. Gerald Celente is saying that, okay? Gregory Manurino is saying that. A lot of people are saying the time for games, guys, is over. The time to entertain yourself with really interesting shit. I guess for a distraction to get away from all this ugliness, we have to do that every now and then. That's why I love shows like Conspiring, with Chris Graves and Conspiring with Tom Cooper. I want to go over there and talk about Bigfoot and stuff, and they talk about serious stuff too. Two super intelligent men, but we need a break from it. I get it. That's fine. But when you're disseminating information to people in the aggregate, you can't do that. So back to what I was saying. So CBDC is coming. That's my point. All the saber rattling, all the political posturing, that's not going to help. That's not going to stop it. Because here's this: 7 central banks and BIS. Who are BIS? BIS and Quick and all of them, they're in cahoots with what is called SWIFT. SWIFT is a communication system for the Western banking system, okay? And we are in competition with what is called BRICS. And a lot of you know what BRICS and SWIFT are. And right now, the hegemony of the dollar is in huge jeopardy because the BRICS nations are starting to take over. And because we've used the dollar as a weapon around the world, I'm sure you've heard all of this ad nauseum. People are sick of the bully and they're ganging up on us. And even OPEC is going to let China buy their oil in yuan and watch all hell break loose in this country when that starts happening. You think it's bad now. Wait till that happens. That's why I say prepare. Prepare any way you can. If you're poor, buy ramen. If you're rich, get your MRI meals. Physically prepare. If you're another thing, whoever you are, it's a good idea to have a garden while it's warm out. Learn how to can, look up videos, get books on it. I don't like electric crap. I don't like any of that because without power, you can't access that information. They make books this big on canning, survival, plants you can eat. And guess what? If you keep them in a safe, dry place, you'll have them forever, unlike anything electronic. No redundancy. Okay, that's another thing about CBDC. There is zero redundancy. And I love crypto. I love the basis of crypto, but that freaks me out too. There's no redundancy. If there's no electricity and you've got your crypto on a hard drive, right? And you've got it, it's yours. Yeah, you possess it. How are you going to download it or trade with it with no electricity? Birds is magic, and you need tricity to access your electronic money. Remember that. So redundancy in all aspects of life is the wisest course of action, according to the Tiger anyway. So 7 central banks and BIS, that I just explained who BIS is, right? They're in cahoots. They're a big programming. They do all the software, all the important stuff for all these other banking industries. You have the whole banking industry has the central banks have a subset of industries that cater to them, anywhere from software development to I imagine public relations and social engineering and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, the bank oh boy, here we go. The Bank of International Settlements, the Bankers Bank, the bank of all banks. And a group of central banks have published a paper detailing their ongoing policy perspectives, because they are royalty, because they will be making the decisions on a retail central bank digital currency. The new publication is the 5th from the same authors. Listen, they've been on this stuff. They're stirring the pot or cauldron or whatever you want to call it of rancid death that they're going to dump upon us, and slavery and just agony. Okay, they're stirring it. It's ready. They've been stirring it. They are doing everything they can to make it as appealing and make it come as fast as possible, ladies and gentlemen. And that means destroying the middle class. That's what's happening right now. You are watching a consolidation of many things, because the banks, that's what they do. They consolidate. And that is a central authoritarian way of thinking. And that trickles down into the thinking of the leaders. And if our politicians have not abdicated their responsibilities to us, they would have kicked a central bank out a long time ago. But unfortunately, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I love the Constitution. I love the founding fathers. But they weren't perfect. The Constitution isn't perfect. What's going on now is far from perfect. The central banks have ran us and our currency into the ground and enslaved our children and our grandchildren in debt. And it's no good. And we didn't give them the right to do that. Nobody voted on any of this crap. Okay. And it really irritates me. I try not to lose it. But when I report on this stuff, when I look at it, and then I hear the bullshit that they tell us, okay, excuse my French. When I hear the bull crap that they tell us, it makes me very angry. So if I lose it, there's no shtick. It's me. It's natural. So, and I'm sure some of you lose it when I report on this crap. And I have to say the Bank of International Settlements. These sons of guns are running our lives. Okay, so the Bank of International Settlements is, boy, everybody wants to bother me on a Friday. See, it's a crazy Friday. And central banks have published their 5th, this is their 5th paper. The central banks of Canada, the European Union, Japan, Sweden, Switzerland, England, and the U.S. teamed up with the BIS, which is not a strange thing, okay? and to produce a short document in 2020 that established common principles. So this goes on to say how the central banks already have expertise in creating and managing sophisticated value chain. That is their ledger, their ledger system, okay, for a mass market retail product, which, like I said, if you go and you check out my stuff, it's back in November. It's called CBDC Coming Fast. I believe it was an emergency report. Check it out. It will explain all of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, the nuts and bolts of how they're going to do it and who's involved. All the software from Amazon to MIT to all these different companies. It's coming. There is no end to it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, and you know what you're going to be saying when it comes?
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yes, heavens to Murgatroyd. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 year, okay. We talk about the bond market here a lot in the Tiger's Den. I'm going to take a sip of my espresso. That's all this guy needs is more espresso. Yeah, that's a great. No, I haven't had any. This is my first sip of espresso this afternoon. So that's all I need, right? So we talk about bonds here. They're important. The debt market is important. A bond is nothing but debt. I've explained that on this show before. We buy bonds from the Federal Reserve, our country. Other countries buy U.S. Treasury federal bonds. That's slowing down, okay? So it's debt, and they're buying debt. If you look up the word bond, they'll tell you it's debt. It's not me making this up or being bombastic or hyperbole. This is real. So we have debt. They are bonds, and there's an interesting thing that's been going on for quite some time. And today it was interesting this week. The 2-year yield rose. And we've been in what they call an inverted yield curve with our bonds. So we have a 10-year yield bond, and the 2-year yield bond, and a 4-year yield bond. I think, and there might be one or two more I'm missing, but the longer yielding bonds should always be on top. Okay, they should always be higher. But that has not been the case lately. And what that means is that when people are looking into the future to buy bonds, supposedly, this is what, market-wise, that's what this means. They don't like what they see. So they're not buying as many 10-year yield bonds. They're buying short bonds, 2-year yield treasury yield bonds. Okay, that is going up. So that means that they see nothing good in the long future, but for some reason they think that something in the short future is the way to go. Or they're worried and they sold their 10 years and traded them for 2s, and they're going to dump them. But here's the problem with the bond market. We have this thing called the Federal Reserve, okay? And the Federal Reserve buys our debt. You like that? How does that work? They print the money, lend it to you. It's debt, okay? It's got a tax on it hidden called inflation, okay? The money you own in your pocket's not really yours. It's somebody else's. Okay. The money in the bank is not even yours. That's gone. I've explained how all that works, fractional reserve banking. Okay. And then they buy the debt back. And then they loan it again and make money on it again. And all the while they're making money out on money in your pocket and all that other stuff and putting you and your progeny in slavery. Isn't it? What a scam. What a scam. But they've been doing this for over 100 years. So central banks, this is their modus operandi. So what I wanted to discuss was we have a yield curve. It's inverted. It's been inverted. It's gotten worse. A bump in 2-year yield treasury bonds is not a good sign. It's just the debt market is unstable, and we don't know how bad it is because the Fed's buying the debt, and the Fed also continues to pump the repo bond market. So that's not good either. And consumer debt is at an all-time high. Okay, repos are at an all-time high. Bad, all the signs of what is going on with the economy is all bad. And I hate to bring you this crap news, but this is just it's what's going on, And so let's get on to the next thing. Here we go. Fed's Waller. See, and this is the crap. Here's the crap. Okay, because this is from Reuters, of course. And they're thinking in a Keynesian way because they believe in the magic monetary theory. We like to think in an Austrian economical way. We go over that Austrian economics, it's sound money, real economics, no fractional reserve banking. And, you let the market dictate supply and demand, which will dictate the value of a product and or a currency. Okay. And the flow of money and all that other great stuff. So they're saying that the inverted yield curve may signal a belief in falling inflation, which, yeah, some people do believe that that means that the inflation is falling. Federal Reserve Governor, oh, we have to give them the gong. Sorry, oh, yes, I take time to give them the gong. The Federal Reserve Governor, Christopher Wallaby, Walla full of what? On Wednesday said that while the inverted yield curves in the context of stable inflation often point to a bad economic outlook, listen to the line of manure they're going to try to smear across your face. The current yield curve inversion may signal better times ahead. Okay. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice. I'm a body man, a mechanic, an entrepreneur, done a lot of different things. Okay. I'm not an idiot, but I'm not a financial wizard by any means necessary. Believe me, if you could find it in your heart to find the donate button somewhere. No, what I'm saying is this is crap. Okay. If an inverted yield curve was bad, as a sign of bad economic stress and times, throughout history, why wouldn't it be now when you have a pallet fire of inflation burning the country down, okay, and the Western banking system for that matter, the whole of Europe, I reported it last week, in Canada, inflation and food inflation is crushing us. It's destroying us. Ladies and gentlemen, it was at 9.5% a couple months ago. I have not checked it out of fear. Okay, I know you guys shop. It's not getting any better. Okay, you got the inflation, you have the interest rates, the housing market's about to tighten up like a clam on a damn pearl. All right, nothing's going to move. The regional banks are drying up. There's no action going on, no loans being made. 14 million people are refinancing a week. You know what that means? They need money because they have to, and the credit is at an all-time high. Consumer debt at an all-time high. Why? They need money because it costs more to maintain their lifestyle. And this moron who is in charge, this Christopher Wallaby, okay, from the Federal Reserve is trying to tell me that an inverted yield curve during an economic tsunami of garbage crap like a hippopotamus crapping and spreading it around with his tail is a sign of good economic times, which goes into further news, more lies. I'm going to tell you more lies. I'm going to break them down right now. This is what makes me mad. Don't lie to me. I hate being lied to. I hate that. I tell people when I first meet them, listen, I don't care if you're going to tell me I smell or I did something. I don't care what you tell me. Don't freaking lie to me. I hate it. I don't like liars, and I don't lie to people, okay? And if I found out that I've misinformed someone, I'm going to tell you immediately or as soon as possible. So the lies, okay? One of the Federal Reserve's, their favorite benchmark to say things are looking good or things are looking up or improving a little bit, because those are the stupid terms they use. They convolute everything. Liquidity. Every word is fancy and convoluted. So their core personal consumption expenditures. That is what they love to look at, all right, to say that, oh, your personal expenditures, how is it? It's higher than expected. So your core personal consumption expenditures, they're higher than expected. They have admitted, okay, let's see here. I'm getting this right from U.S. prices rise again as fight of inflation stalls the PCE, what I just said signals, okay? But they say it's not that bad, okay? They say it's because we're spending more money. They don't say why we're spending more money. This is a line of crap. Do you know why we're spending more money? I do. I know you guys know why. I feel bad. I'm not trying to insult you by answering that question because crap costs more. Of course we're spending more money, Federal Reserve. Wallaby yelling, all right? Yellow face or whatever her name is. She looks like E.T. That's what she looks like. E.T. Oh, inflation. We're gonna stall interest rate hikes for a little bit. Of course they are. Of course, my head's gonna explode. I'm gonna fall out in a second. Hold on. Just let me breathe for a second here. I gotta calm down. I don't know. What am I gonna throw you guys to give me a second? I am going to what are we gonna do? I need to calm down just for a second and I will give you some. What do I have here for you? Here, check this out.
The price of gold today is $1,580. The dollar during these last 3 years was devalued almost 50%. When you wake up in the morning, do you care about the price of gold?
Well, I pay attention to the price of gold, but I think it reflects a lot of things. It reflects global uncertainties. I think the reason people hold gold is as a protection against what we call tail risk, really, really bad outcomes. And to the extent that the last few years have made people more worried about the potential of a major crisis, then they have gold as a protection.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money.
It's
Even if it had been money for 6,000 years.
Did you just see the look on his face? No. These are the morons, Bernanke, for Pete's sake. These are the morons that they have at the Federal Reserve. All right. I have calmed myself down. Okay. I have what do they call that? I can't find the word right now. Anyways, yes, I've composed myself. Yes. So Tiger is composed again. Let's go on. I have to because there's more lies. I have comments here too. What's going on here? Who do we have? Harlan Stonewall. Yeah, that's exactly what they are, brother. That is exactly what they are. Thank you for viewing, Harlan. Good day, sir. Karen Carpenter, what is going on? How are you? Thank you for viewing, Karen. All right, yes, and I don't. Again, with the time, guys, we're gonna try this 4 o'clock thing and see how it works for a couple weeks, but it might change. But we'll do our best. But I just want to thank everybody for viewing, and when you watch it on the replay, I want to thank everybody for viewing there too. So more lies. This is what we got going on. So they admit. Let me get the screen up for you here. They admit that inflation is up. Okay, but it's they like their core personal consumption index. They say that's a good sign because people are spending more. Yeah, because stuff costs more. I mean, come on. Do they think that we're total idiots over here? I mean, geez, oh Pete's. Even I don't know. It's just so here we go. Prices rise again. Inflation stalls. PCE signals. Now this is from someone who knows what they're writing. Okay. They say that inflation is stuck at 5%. We all know it's more than that. Okay. Food inflation was at 9.5% and it's up higher. Okay. I'd like to see, I think we have another quarter ending coming up here and I want to see where it's at that point. Okay. Higher interest rates. Here we go. Remember I told you the interest rate is going to be a game. Okay. Just like COVID, it's going to be a light switch they turn on and off. Okay. Well, during this is a war on the middle class, an extermination program on the poor and the middle class to bring in CBDC and other nefarious things that are going to happen. And there might be if it doesn't go smoothly the way they'll pull any trick out of the bag that they have, which is a hot war or continue this proxy war that they have with Russia. They might escalate that, or the possibility start some kind of crap with Taiwan or with China over Taiwan. It's all over the place because they love the war drums. I got to get moving here because Don's on in a couple minutes. So high interest rates seen more likely as inflation speeds up. And it does. And consumers spend. Consumers are not spending more. Stuff is costing more. The money volatility index, the last time I reported on it, was slow. The M2 index, which is how much money is moving around, there's a lot of money just sitting around. People aren't spending money. And the money that is being spent is because crap is costing more. Wait. The Saudis are already are expressing their displeasure at the price of oil right now. OPEC is. So believe me, it's going to go up soon. Summer's coming. Watch. Oil is going to go up. It's not good. And with inflation, wait till you see what that does to the food. Manifest your knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Love the simple things. Find the treasures. I'm telling you. This is something that I wanted to point out to you guys. Not me pulling up Trader's View. I have a take on this. China's youth unemployment is 20%. They're blaming this on COVID, and they're blaming this on college graduates not having a job, which is ridiculous because China is the production hub of the modern world. Okay, they are selling stuff to everyone. They are the manufacturer of manufacturers. We don't create anything, which leads me to, by the way, we last month 17% trade deficit. That's where we're at, 17%, because we don't manufacture anything anymore, and we don't sell anything or import anything to other countries anymore. We import everything, or export, things to other countries. We import everything. We are a service nation and a debt-based nation, and we're a service industry nation now. So, 17% is massive to jump, okay, in a month, okay? Durable goods. Okay. Here's another thing that more lies. Okay. Well, hold on. Before I go into the lies, this China thing, ladies and gentlemen, there was a global slowdown before COVID. Okay. Things weren't moving around. You could tell by how much gas was moving, how much oil was being sold. You could tell by China's output. You could tell by the money velocity index. You could tell by the durable goods index of other countries, how much they were selling their GDPs. Okay. COVID happened. There was a huge boom. Now the boom is gone. Now we have inflation in these countries that consume things from China. This is a bellwether of what's going on in the consumption countries, the countries that consume. These people don't have jobs, not because they can't find jobs, because there's a slowdown. I know a lot of Chinese people in China. I talk to them. I've talked to them for many years. The way things work in China, workers move around. It is nothing for a worker to move for 6 months and work a temporary job 500 miles away from where they live and then move back to their village, go back to their village and go to the same job or a different job the next year. A lot of factories have different workers in and out all the time, and companies. It's not like here. It's not like here. People migrate for their jobs. Okay. So this tells me, at least this is my opinion, that they're not selling a lot of stuff right now. Their exports are down. Their production is down because they are the production. You watch them to see how much stuff the world is consuming, and that is down because we're just trying to eat right now. People aren't buying a lot of goods and stuff and all the goodies that they shipped over to China, all the manufacturing. Thanks, NAFTA. Thanks, garbage-eating politicians. Thanks a lot. I'm not even going to start getting crazy and wound up about that. Real quick, I want to go over some more lies because I said I would. We have enough time. I'm going to make it happen, and everybody's going to get to check out Donald Jeffries and I Protest at 5 o'clock. So here we go. Another one, durable goods, another measuring cup or measuring stick they like to use is higher than expected. They're reporting. Okay. This is just more horse crap. Okay. That's all it is. Okay. If you take out transportation, you take out some of the things that's the stuff that we export. Okay. You take that out and it is not higher than expected. It is actually at a loss. Okay. Because like I said, we don't export anything. We only import. They say that the personal spending was higher. We went over that. Okay. Energy prices, I don't know if you've noticed this, are going up. They're going up exponentially and they're going to continue to rise. So prepare yourself. Again, the theme, prepare yourself any way, shape, or form, however you can. Okay. You might lose your house. You have to look into yourself, look at your finances. If you're on the edge, and that's a possibility, prepare for that. Angry, I know, you got to be thinking, dude, that sucks. Why are you saying that? You got to think about it. It sucks, but you got to think about it, guys. You got to get this in your brain. Anything could happen here. Financial ruin. This is going to be the worst thing this country has ever seen since the Great Depression. And it might be worse than that because we have way more people. Okay. So we covered the CBDC. We covered, the politicians and the bull crap. When the mustard's getting cut, the CBDC's coming. They didn't spend all this money on nothing. I'm going to check out the comments real quick. Karen Carpenter, you're right. It's all lies. Exactly. Oh, I didn't know this. Ed Dowd is from Karen Carpenter. Ed Dowd has been, I love my listeners. They're so on everything. Ed Dowd has been saying China has hit a demographic wall and strict lockdowns in China were a cover-up. I believe it. And yes, she does keep her ear to the ground. And, yes. You guys know what's up. That's right. Corporate oligarchs run the show, Harlan. And ask not what the ruling class gimmicks can do for you, but ask what you can do for the ruling class. You hit the nail on the head, sir. 100%, And the market, that's where we're going next. Okay, so we got, what do I have? I have a little over 5 minutes left here. Okay. So the market is unstable. doesn't look unstable all the time, but it's unstable. The debt market is unstable. 10-year yield is rising. We look at that. We look at the relative strength of the dollar. Okay, those are things we look at. This week, I watched gold and silver take a little bit of a hit as the relative strength of the dollar rose. Okay, the 10-year yield rose. Somebody's buying the debt. I wonder who that is. That you guys? Are you guys buying the debt because it's such a great investment? It wasn't me. I know that for sure. Definitely wasn't me. But so where do we go? Here we are, the market. Here's the thing. Like I was saying, watch your butt if you're in the market. I am not a financial advisor. Commodities are the way to go. I like gold and silver that I can hold. And I'm going to rail a little bit against this gold and silver thing. When we look at these prices, ladies and gentlemen, this is all paper. We don't even know the gold and silver prices in reality because you're judging it by a fiat central currency. Oh, it's $19, or where we're at. It's silver and gold today. Okay. Gold is at $1,946 an ounce. Okay. $1,946 fiat dollars an ounce. So the true value of gold, we don't know because we have all these fake currencies competing against it. Keep that in mind when you think about this stuff. So, silver at 23 an ounce. Okay. And that's again measured in, fiat currency. And when you look at it on the market, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're measuring it off the paper trades of gold and silver. So that isn't even accurate. So more BS. That's the thing. But the markets, they closed today. Dow was up 2.2, 2.5%, a little over 2.5%. No, 1%. NASDAQ was up 2.5%. Okay, S&P 500, 300, up 1.3%. The volatility index down 6.27%. So they like what they're seeing. Big tech, they're all up on the rise. So when you see the Dow riding high and the S&P 500, up, you can tell all the bigger companies, most of them are going to be up unless there's some kind of calamity going on. Crypto and everything fell under pressure. XRP I watched raise up a little bit. I see it bumped up at 9% at one point this week. I don't know where that's at. Bitcoin, crypto, they're up 1%. Nothing major going on in the crypto world right now other than that XRP bump. I need to check my Exodus wallet. If you are in crypto, Exodus wallet is excellent. Again, not financial advice, but that would be the place to keep your crypto. Check it out. It's really easy to use, very self-explanatory. If you're going to get gold online on the internet, go to davidknight.gold. Wolfpack is really cool. Or ContactWise Wolf, go through the davidknight.gold. These are great people. They have a great broadcast. They work hard, and I don't mind promoting them, so check them out. That's a good way to get it online. It's easy, and Wolfpack has a buying group, so you can get it like a monthly subscription, and the prices are excellent. Cheapest prices online. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, let's what we went over today was we took a gigantic shovel and we moved a ton of manure. And my point is this: from their consumer, their I'm sorry, but yeah, from the CPI, the CPE, all the numbers that they give you, there's all bull crap. Okay, there's always something, right? You can if you take transportation out of let's get back to all these fancy words. See, I usually keep the acronym stored in my head. The durable goods. If you report, if you take out the transportation stuff, it's in the negative. If you take out the wages that they say increased, the personal income is up. They said 0.4%. If you wage that against the inflation, it's way in the negative. Okay. The 17% trade deficit, but our durable goods are up, just lie after lie after lie. The core personal consumption higher than expected because everything costs more. They don't say that. So it's a world of deception, a world of deceit. We cannot, for 1 minute, expect them not to have a plan when they're spending billions and all this time, creating the CBDC. I would love to think that our system continues to work, that we can vote in politicians that will not abdicate their responsibility and actually defend us and defend the Constitution and help us with this stuff. But that's not how things work. When Trump was president yep, you're right, Harlan. That's not how things work, unfortunately. How things work right now is that you have a bunch of politics, dipping their snouts in the trough of corruption provided by the Federal Reserve. The government's co-opted, corrupt, compartmentalized, ran by central bankers around the world. Okay. And, it's no good. And the multinational corporations are in on it, creating a fascist banking cabal that runs our country. And that's where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, I don't really have any funnies tonight for us because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Fridays are crazy. You never know what you're going to get on the Tiger and Snake Financial Report, but you will get me, and you will get most of these articles I've seen. They're less than a day old. Some of them are hours old. So I try to get you will get up to the date, stuff. So we are out of here. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, remember, time is your most valuable commodity. Cherish it. Try not to waste it. Spend it doing something you love with someone you love, improving yourself, or preferably all three of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again.
Your time is your most valuable commodity. Cherish it and use it wisely. Until we meet again.